Welcome back to the METROPLUS show. Small is big, especially when it comes to cars. No, we're not talking about the Tata Nano. What we are talking about is an 8 HP car that had enough power to stay on the top of the charts way back in the 30s. And CS Anand, with 10,000 rupees in hand, got a chance to buy a piece of history. The Morris 8 way back in 2000. She's a beauty, no doubt, and CS Anand couldn't help but fall in love with a girl far older than his 66 years. His two-door vintage Morris 8 has a gleam that makes it difficult to believe she was born in 1935. CS Anand, who has a rich past of restoring cars, bought the Morris 8 in 2000 and spent a while knocking her into shape.
The toughest bit was sourcing the parts. None was available in India. So we had to hunt around, surf around the net, managed to find in the UK quite a few things. To get them down here, clearing it through customs was another hassle. We finally managed to get most of the things here, and the tires, very expensive to get them from England, but managed to find four tires here, right in Chennai. That was a blessing, real blessing. Otherwise I would have spent a fortune on the tires. The only thing, it used to be called the poor man's MG. The guys who couldn't afford an MG, which is much more expensive a car even those days, they used to go for this. Particularly the ladies, because the MG was considered a men's car. And I bought this because I liked this shape. And I could never afford to buy an MG. Even MG was expensive even 10 years ago.
The Morris 8 has a past worth knowing. In the early 1930s, the four biggies of the British car industry, the Morris, Austin, Singer and Hillman, got a little worried when Ford entered the scene for cars with an 8 HP tax rating. Ford's Model Y ensnared a lot of small car lovers in Britain. The Model Y went on to be sold in other markets as well, like Australia, Japan and a few non-American countries. But acting as a speed breaker to its good run was the Morris 8, which came with dimensions similar to that of Model Y. The 8 series stood out for its dashing good looks, among other things.
Favorite elements are two really. One is the dashboard. It's a bird in flight type of a dashboard. It didn't exist at all when I got this car. Nothing was there. So we fabricated it from pictures downloaded from the net. And the second thing I love are those trafficators which pop out on the right and the left, depending on whether you're turning right or left. There's something unique to this model of cars, of the 40s vintage. And they're working in this car. That's what it is. I love those two indicators. Very difficult to make them work, but we made them work.
There's no sign of old age in the 75-year-old dame. The Morris 8 recently went for a ride to Pondicherry and back without a whimper. CS Anand spent a lot of time online to know more about the Morris 8, and off it went to the workshop to translate the research into motion.
I was following the car. I wasn't driving this. I was following the car and admiring the car, the way it went smoothly, tail lights working, the brake lights working, and no problem, absolutely. In fact, the cars of later age were falling down by the wayside, but this one chugged all the way to Pondicherry. Very beautiful. My favorite bit about this car is the ease to drive. Very smooth steering, and it's particularly got hydraulic brakes as opposed to mechanical brakes cars of this vintage have. And it's small, compact, and the roof can be rolled on, especially late in the evenings. It's a pleasure to drive this car.
The 2 years it took to restore the Morris 8 looks like a job well done, as it put this iconic British car back where it belongs, on the road. While speaking to Mr. Anand, he did mention one of the most annoying questions he gets from people who see him drive the Morris 8. What's the car's mileage? Well, the next time you see vintage, please remember it's old and worth its weight in gold, and mileage is something you can't and shouldn't gauge. We move on though now to meet a man who's almost as old as the Morris 8 and just like the car, still going strong. A legendary cricketer who, given a chance, can still give a run for BCCI's money.
I'm here today with a cricketing legend who used a great combination of flight and turn as a lethal weapon to demolish almost any batting side. One glance at the scorecards of the 60s and 70s will show you that this name was prominent all over it. I have here with me Vishwanath Vaman Kumar. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Nice having you on the show, sir. So, sir, how difficult or different is it for the sportsmen in the city during your period, sir?
The facilities that were given to us were very little, and mostly the affluential people would like to come by their own cars. We had some people like that. The rest of them used to come by bus. Sometimes we used to cycle and then go to the ground. And as you rightly see now, the lunching facilities, the water facilities, or your break facilities, your water break facilities and tea break facilities, there was no tea break at all. Even the water break facilities consists of a aluminium bucket and then 2 or 3 aluminium tumblers with a small handle. So the entire team, we never used to go inside. This is school cricket and also sometimes league cricket also. The groundsman used to bring it to the halfway across the ground. We used to go dip the tumbler and drink.
So, sir, you donned the test cap in 1962 against Pakistan in Firozshah Kotla. Tell me something about that experience, sir.
Well, see, if my memory goes back, it was a bitterly cold morning on the day of the test match, and prior to that I had the distinction of playing against them in Bangalore and was very successful with the ball, taking about 7 wickets for 140 runs or something like that. In those days there was absolutely no coverage of how the test match was being, excepting the newspapers. So I was, my parents were asking, I said, you have played this test match, how do you think that we are able to imagine what you have done? I said, we can't do anything. So I will please myself, and then if you can't come to a movie, so I will go and please myself. So myself and my friend, we were searching all over the city of Madras, where in those days, Indian News Review was one item where it was regular in all movies. So I came to know that in Wellington talkies, now it is no Wellington, the shopping centre is there. So they were showing the great movie, Madhubala Dilip Kumar starred Dag, Thirst. So I bought a ticket for 10 annas, myself and my friend, 10 annas, because it was houseful. We couldn't get only 2 10 annas tickets. We went inside. And then the show started, and then we were all eagerly waiting for the show to commence, and after about a few minutes of a cartoon and other things, Indian News Review came. In that they showed me about, they showed the entire test episode in about 1.5 minutes. So I was able to see myself being portrayed bowling for about, let's say about 1 over or 1.5 overs, and that's how I visualized myself. Oh, this is what you have done, wonderful. So with that feeling, we saw the movie, enjoyed ourselves and came back.
Okay, sir, all said and done. Tomorrow, if you get a call from the Indian team management and they tell you that we need a spinner, Vivek Kumar, will you be there?
Certainly there, because see, although I am old, but even now I bowl for about 1.5 hours in nets wherever I go. That is my basic principles. I will certainly bowl well. I am telling you, I don't say, oh, this thing, no. I will bowl well. I will bowl about 10 overs. That's the maximum that you can bowl. I will bowl 10 overs and I will see that I take a wicket or not. That is left to me. But I will never say, no, I won't come. Even now I am prepared to put on the boots, put on the whites and then go and bowl.
It's not over yet on the show. Our Marsh register will start ringing with love in just a bit.